Rock stars. There's literally nothing like those wild parties. All I did was drink and party and go to rock concerts. So I got VIP access to a certain very hot rock star's room.
This was getting a little intense for my liking.
What's your problem?
Okay.
Look, bitch, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Hey, come on, you gotta go. I'll call you.
Hey, what would you say if I were to tell you that rock stars like Terry would pay for your attention and you would be a multi-millionaire because of it?
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the director and the council on the IE network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Capri, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
It's Vicky Judy, Orange is the New Black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Frida Parks, and you're listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And nothing less. What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk. The Director and the Jedi Council. I'm the Director. We'll be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. Real Talk is brought to you each and every Monday by, whoa, there you see it, B2S Media. Oh, my name's blocking it. B2S Media. And we broadcast live via the World Wide Web on youtube.com/IE Network TV and on Twitter, of course, and on the social media network, the social network itself, Facebook, aka Meta. Today is the 20th of June, and boy, oh boy, this month is flying by. We talked to you about some things this evening. Some stuff we talked about last week, and that being Ezra Miller, more stuff with him. You know, he's starting to become, he's already become a nuisance. Do some Obi-Wan predictions, maybe. And really just the trending topics and news things. A lot of things. Just, there's like a Black Panther, you know, like they allegedly, supposedly, there's a Black Panther trailer that exists, and it hasn't been out. Don't you know? I don't want y'all running from the show, turning the show off to go look for Black Panther trailer. It's not out yet, but it's close. It was supposedly, you know, they were supposed to have premiered it during the NBA Finals. Now we know that that's come and gone, so that didn't happen. I'm thinking they're gonna probably put it on the probably put it with Thor. Oh, my light keeps cutting off, but they're probably gonna put it with Thor. That's what I'm thinking, because Thor: Love and Thunder is gonna be out soon. So why not just put it on that and just wait, you know, instead of, because there's no other big event coming before that they could tag it to. And, you know, I don't even know. There's like nothing going on 4th of July, really. So, like, that would be a nice time to put the trailer out, too. But I think Thor: Love and Thunder will be out by then. So, we'll see. Also, yeah, I mean, the Top Gun Maverick is still performing at peak numbers and doing its thing. Not peak numbers, but it's doing really good numbers for still. Talk about that. Also, happy belated Father's Day to all the dads out there. You hear people, anybody can be a father, but it takes a special person to be a dad. That's cool. I agree, kind of. I just say whatever you want to refer to him as, a dad, a father, whatever, There's dads, there's fathers, and there's sperm donors, right? It's the ones that don't do their job, but we don't want to give them no light. I'm going to have to say this too. I want to say thank you to the mothers out there. This year, I did not see a bunch of single mothers posting for Father's Day saying, oh, shout out to the mothers that do the father's job and blah, blah, blah. We get it. We understand. We love you too. That's what it is. But I have to give y'all props for not trying to steal the father's moments, the father's moment this time around. I gotta give you credit. Give him a round of applause right here. Where's the applause? Give him a round of applause for not trying to steal the moment this year and saying, oh, yeah, all the mothers that hold down and does the father's job. Oh, yeah, we know y'all exist, and that's what's up. But there are a lot of great fathers out there that do above and beyond their job. Because to be honest with you, I don't think a father needs to be given any special accolades for doing his job. You know what I mean? Your job is to take care of your kid. So, I mean, that's, to me, I don't need any special recognition for that. But the fact that if you are being a good father and doing going above and beyond your bare minimum duties, those are the ones. And just fathers alone, it's a hard job too. We're looked at as well, it all depends on traditionally. This generation looks at things differently, but it's a hard job. There's no job harder than a mother, but the father's job is not easy as well because they do what they do, whether you're traditional in your ways where you are the breadwinner and hold down the family and this and that, or if you're just whatever, if you're modern day and you're a cool dad, whatever it is you are, but it's not easy because you raising a child, any child, male or female, raising a child is not easy, and it's something that a real father needs to take pride in being a part of and doing the work. So that's what it is. I mean, I don't like to, like I said, I don't like to get special accolades for something you're supposed to do anyway, But I do appreciate recognition from people who just say, hey, man, really, you really just want the recognition from your kids. And those are the ones you don't get it from. They're like, yeah, whatever. They say your text. Yeah, happy Father's Day. Keep it moving. So it's what it is. But, kids never really appreciate you till, later when they become fathers and mothers and stuff like that. Anyway, in honor of Father's Day, I'm going to go over some lists I came across and some I was going to add to myself of a list of badass dads, movie dads. Badass movie dads. I found a list like that, and then I started thinking about it myself. I'm like, you formulate my own list of badass movie dads, So I'm sure we can the council could come up with a few right off the top, and then we'll formulate a list maybe together based on, because some of the lists that I saw don't cover everything, not at all. So we'll go into that and other things. So, and of course, the weekend recap is brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com for the weekend of June 17th through the 19th. Jurassic Park Dominion pulled in $59 million this weekend at a total right now domestic gross of 249 and some change $million, with a worldwide gross of 623 million. So Jurassic World Dominion doing its thing. Second on that list is Lightyear, which is the Buzz Lightyear movie. But Lightyear comes in, and this is its what? First weekend, I think. 50 million. Pulled in 50 million domestic. Something definitely not, people were expecting more than that. 84 million worldwide. So for the first time in a while, it brought in less money domestically than it did. I mean, less money internationally than it did domestically. That's interesting. I mentioned this at the top of the show. Top Gun Maverick still going strong. $44 million this week. It's now reached 887 million worldwide, 466 million domestic. So that movie is performing so well. And I'm so happy for the filmmakers, Tom Cruise, and the fans of that whole genre, but that whole thing of that series. Now it's a movie. Top Gun, the original Top Gun, and now this one. They did their thing. They did it right. They stepped it up a little bit with the stunts, as he always does. Okay, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness made $4 million again this weekend, and that's bringing its total up to 943 million worldwide. They are really trying to get that Billy, and I believe it's out on streaming later this week, and I guarantee you it goes back into the theaters so they can make that $1 billion. And then again, Bob's Burger, the Bob's Burger movie, made another $1 million. So it's at 29 million domestic, 32 million worldwide, and that is your weekend recap for a weekend of June 17th through the 19th, the year 2022. All righty, we thank you. So, like I said, we'll get to the list of I think it was like badass like movie dads or something like that. It was like, when I saw that, I thought that was pretty cool. So let's see. Right, and you're watching Real Talk, of course, and I'm bringing my Jedi Council. They're both here. That's what's up. Ralph, gentlemen.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah.
Hey.
Happy Father's
Day, belated Father's Day to all you fathers out there. You real
father. Yeah, right.
Well,
like I said, man, the ones that ain't real, they don't get no love anyway. But those are the sperm donors, right? But like I said, I don't go overboard with it because you're supposed to. I'm not gonna give you too many accolades for something you're supposed to do anyway. It's your job. But I do appreciate the recognition. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay it, but but there's fathers that also do. They burn the candle at both ends. They breadwinners. They spend time with the kids. They help raise the children. Stuff like that. That's a little bit, I feel that. I feel that for sure. I feel that. So, it's a tough job. We know the toughest job in the world is the, mother. Oh, we got the spam person back in the chat room. I'm going to try to block them. Toughest job is, I don't know who this is. This person has been there before, but I now blocked him. Shout out to the chat room. I looked, I'm like, oh man, there's a lot of comments that I feel like is spam. Like, oh boy. Shout out to chat room, Joseph Tanner, everybody else who comes to hold us down. So that's I came across this list of like badass movie dads or something like that. And I was like, oh cool, that might be cool to talk about real quick, in the wake of Father's Day. And there's a couple ones. I'm trying to find there's a couple of them out there. But I'm looking for the one that was like, it said like badass movie dads or something like that. Badass.
Well, Liam Neeson and Taken.
Yeah, of course. Liam Neeson and Taken. He's on that list. They got Vader on the list. I'm like, yeah, he's badass, but he's not a good dad. He's a terrible father.
Yeah.
Pause. He would have been a good dad. He would have been a good dad if somebody would have let him.
If somebody would have just gave him a hug, maybe he could have been good.
Yeah,
he
right.
Needed a hug.
He had baby mama drama.
Yeah.
At least he thought he had baby mama.
Stallone is Rocky. You can say he's badass.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking more like the people that. Like you said, like Taken, he went to save his daughter. You know, like
you got to play Harrison
Schwarzenegger and Commando. You know, Schwarzenegger and Commando.
Harrison Ford,
Air Force One, or what about
Jean-Claude in oh man, the one where he was a cop and they was having the hockey game.
Yeah, I forgot that one. Yeah,
that one. I love that movie. That movie was awesome.
Yeah, that was good. There's a couple other. John Q.
Yeah,
John Q. That's badass. That ain't like, I am not burying my son.
My son's gonna bury me.
My son gonna bury me. That's right. Yo. That's a big one. I remember I remember, man. John Q was my joint, man.
Bruce Willis. I mean, even though first Die Hard he didn't have. Well, you found out. Because you found out he had kids in the first movie, so you got to put McClane up in there.
Yeah, he still had kids, and he was trying to save his baby mama.
Yeah,
his wife, but still,
his mama, his baby mama, then his daughter, then his son. I mean, like. Only person that was left was the maid.
Who else? Who else is a good badass dad? Let's see.
Seagal. I guess Seagal for Hard to Kill. I might get
Kill. Yeah. I could give you Hard to Kill. That's right. That was his. What about?
I'll give you that one.
What about the Indiana Jones Senior, Sean Connery?
Nah, not that. Nah. Oh, my favorite, Chuck Norris is JJ McQuaid.
Yeah,
I give you that one. Chuck Norris and JJ
McQuaid. Yeah. What about Danny Glover? What about him? What about Danny Glover?
Yeah.
Murtaugh. Lethal Weapon. Yeah.
Murtaugh beat everybody on the list right now. Murtaugh ran out like, fuck y'all, I'm going to get my. And he brought with him. He rolled up like, what?
Yeah, Murtaugh was
just been revoked.
and he gave him a chance. He told him, don't do it. I'm warning you.
Don't do it.
I'm going to be off the edge. I might only load up with the 380, but listen, don't get it twisted.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, you know who else? You know who you can always go with? They had him on the list actually. Nicolas Cage in Con Air. Remember, he had the kid. He had bought the little bunny to his kid. He was badass in that. Nicolas Cage.
Well, that's case I'm putting John Travolta in Face Off because he vowed revenge against the guy that killed his son.
That's true. Come on, well, I could go with that. Plus, it was not just his son. He also, he still had a daughter.
Yeah, his daughter too.
Yeah, he was badass. He was badass.
Hold up, but we gotta pause for a sec. I'm giving an honorary mention to Samuel L. Jackson in The Long Kiss Goodnight. He stole shit for his kid. Damn, can't help somebody.
That's just no, that ain't badass. That's just
No,
I forgot.
No.
I forgot he even had a kid. I forgot.
Yeah, no. He's still badass because he had a mean ass baby mama, and he still slid in like, yo, listen, I got this for you. And even though the kid respected mom's wishes, but he still rolled up to do what he was supposed to do, even though she didn't want him. And I liked at the end that he ended up on whatchamacallit to be like, yeah, fuck you, I'm the man. Let me see my kid because we going to court now. I got you. you gonna let me see mine. And like I said,
I thought you were gonna say him as Shaft. I was like, maybe Shaft. Maybe Shaft. That's a strong one.
There's a couple. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. We just named quite a few.
If that's the case, do we have to count Daniel Craig as Bond in the last movie? Because I mean, he is a dad in the last movie.
That's another one that took on. Well, that was his kid. That was his kid. So
that is his kid.
So yeah.
Okay, we can go with that. You know, he had a kid. I mean, Bond is badass anyway. So
he took he did the ultimate sacrifice. He took a missile to the face.
Can we count Iron Man in Endgame?
Why can't we?
Yeah. He sacrificed his life to make sure his kid would survive and everyone else.
And he saved everybody, kid. So he the ultimate dad.
He's ultimate dad. And he had the line that had me crying for freaking days. I love you 3000.
Listen, and what parents supposed to do, rubbed it in mom's face. Like, yeah, she loves me 3000.
She loves me 3000. Yeah. So you got to put Iron Man in there. You don't get no more badass than that. Who else? Who else? I'm thinking badass dads. Really, I mean, what's his face from Taken is there? That's the first person that comes to your mind. I don't know. Certain set of skills. That's the first thing that comes to your mind, yo. That is because that dude, even though he said it differently than any other dad may say, especially black dad, but he said the same thing any dad would say. Yeah, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna kill you. It's just the fact that he had a certain set of skills, and because he had that,
be a nightmare to people.
Yeah, it makes him.
You got to put Schwarzenegger back up in there for True Lies.
True Lies, yeah. Schwarzenegger for True Lies and for Commando. Commando, forget about it though. Oh my God.
Especially
right. What he did with Commando, boy. Woo.
Well, since we talking about, that's a good segue into what's his face from the Predator movie, where the guy who saw the Predator while he was at war in the theater of war, and then he came back home and he was all jacked up.
Who was that?
He came back because his son had the alien tech.
Okay.
I guess so.
Yeah, no, it's not I guess so. His son had the alien tech. So
you know who they had? Speaking of alien, you know who they had on the list too, Kev? Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's not his dad.
He was his dad. You don't have to be biological to be a dad. He raised Quill.
If that's the case, did we say Mr. Miyagi? Are we putting him on that list?
No, because he didn't raise Daniel San.
Hey, he made Daniel San into a man from a boy.
I know that, but he did not raise him. You have to literally be
a mentor. That he was.
He was a mentor, but he didn't raise him. He had a mother. You know what I mean? So like, he didn't raise him, so I wouldn't put Miyagi.
So
I'll tell you who I would put: Shokazuki from Revenge of the Ninja.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely. See, once we start getting into it, we bring it back on people. And people will probably looking like, what? Who?
So I'm just curious, do we ever put, you may never see on the screen, do we put Batman on that list because he theoretically raised Robbie?
I mean, yeah.
Do you put Batman?
I guess so.
Then he just might be the ultimate badass.
I think he might count.
But
later on he had a son anyway.
No. Let's pause that because he don't count because he didn't. When Joker killed Robin, he didn't go ham, so he loses major parental points for that because any parent who has that much tech and somebody kills your kid, listen, ain't nothing stopping.
He didn't kill Dick Grayson though. Dick Grayson is more like his kid than any of them.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? That was Jason Todd that he.
I'm just saying he still took him under his wing as a dad because technically speaking, of his face he lost his parents.
Yeah,
he lost everybody. So
it's hard. It's hard to count Bruce, but yes, I could see. I guess Bruce. It's hard to count Bruce.
If you stepped in and took the place of a parent,
then you was that.
Technically speaking, he raised him from a kid
up
until his teen years, so he started, until his 20s or whatever the case may be, where Robin started to break off. But technically speaking, he raised him. He gave him, and he gave him access to the checkbook and the credit cards
and the car.
True.
I'm putting Russell Crowe. I'm giving Russell Crowe a 2 for Gladiator and Man of Steel because he was kicking Zod's ass. I'm sorry, he's kicking his ass.
He was dope. He was great. He was great in that. All right, I'm about to get a wild card in here. Mufasa.
Who?
Mufasa.
Man, sit down, please.
Come on, Seth. Mufasa. The name just gives chills to you.
Yeah. And
he just got did dirty. He got done dirty by his brother, but he was still badass. Everybody was scared of him.
Yeah, and
his brother killed him the way he did.
Yeah, and he's still everyone's dad. And on a side note, I apologize, guys. I'm in the hospital, so if you hear a bunch of beeping and buzzing, that's because of my surroundings.
Okay.
But yeah, the other one, the other one good one is, since you mentioned Russell Crowe, is Gerard Butler.
Oh,
300. Oh yeah.
I forgot about 300. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, he opened up beating his son's ass because you didn't do it. He's like, this is how you do it, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was bad. Talk about bad.
That law abiding citizen, I might be like, yeah, but I just realized 300. He had a kid, or what's that? Olympus Has Fallen. Does he have a kid in that too?
Yeah.
We throw Channing Tatum up in there because I can't be throwing Channing Tatum for White. I actually like White House Down. I'm sorry.
You said I can't be. I can't be throwing Channing.
I just can't. I can't put Mr. Magic up there, but I gotta admit, man, I like the White House Down.
Yo, White House Down was dope. I don't care what you say, and I'm not a.
I enjoyed it.
Anybody else we can reach for? I'm trying to think.
You put Will Smith up there for Independence Day, or
yeah. Will Smith. Now was he his dad?
He was gonna be his stepdad, but you could tell he had been around for a while. But in the second one, they made it like that's my bops, the second one. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he didn't get married toward the end, and he was taking his time getting married, and Thursday didn't come. Was he going to really dump her? I don't know.
Exactly. When that money came in. Oh man.
But he go on the list for that.
I don't know.
Now he, like I said, he's a villain, and he's a POS, but he's still badass. Bill from Kill Bill.
Oh yeah.
Bill from Kill Bill.
All right. Since Kev threw the wild card, I'm gonna throw the wild card too. Right, Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can rock with that. I can rock with that. I mean, if that's the case, you can go with him. Yeah, he's definitely that's a good pick.
And he's not technically speaking, he's not a wild card either. He's solid.
No, that's a solid pick, Mr.
But he's animated. You know, that's what because he's animated. That's it.
I don't mean nothing. He's definitely a solid. He's a solid. Yeah, he's a solid pick right there. Who else? Let's see. Are we winding down? Let's see who else can we think about for badass movie dads. What else they got here? Hollywood's most badass dads. Here's a list from someone else. What do they got?
Fuck it. I'm gonna throw a real wild card.
Oh yeah. What do you call it? Nicolas Cage and Kick-Ass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely badass in that.
Come on, he shot it. I shot my child.
Yeah, he was.
He shot his child.
He's
like, come on, if you do another one, let me shoot you again. I'll take you for ice cream, little girl.
That's crazy. Talk about badass. Woo.
Who we left out? Tyrese.
And what?
And are you really questioning the reason why we left him out? I'm just saying.
In what movie though? Was he a dad?
I know he was a dad in like Waist Deep. If you say Baby Boy, I'm be like, no.
No, he wasn't a dad in Baby Boy.
Yes, he is.
Well, he was playing.
Oh, he got her pregnant, but at the end, she got.
No, he was a dad throughout the entire movie.
Was he? Oh yeah, he was. That's right. He had a kid with someone else, right?
He had 2 kids. He had a kid with her and a kid with some other chick.
Baby Boy.
You know what? I'm going. I'm my second wild card. I'm going Homer Simpson from the Simpsons movie. I'm throwing Homer up in there. Come on, the guy rode a motorcycle upside down with a bomb. Come on. If that was Bruce Willis, we if that was Tom Cruise, we'd be bowing at his feet right now. He rode upside down with a bomb on a motorcycle.
Yeah, we gotta give it to him.
Gotta get Homer some play.
Tom Cruise. You said that was Tom Cruise. We give him a medal.
We be bowing to him. He's like, damn, there ain't nothing he can't do.
Homer went through some stuff.
He went through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was because of Bart. Homer would be getting in trouble.
It's always because of Bart.
Yo, that's funny. That's too funny. I can't think of. Well, I'm gonna take it back on some old animation. Bionic 1 from the Bionic 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it back. Bionic 1 for the Bionic 6. That man was.
We're gonna go there and a dad from Silverhawks.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm now. Here's the real wild card. Y'all gonna laugh, but I don't care. Jesus from the Passion of the Christ, because we're all.
He said Jesus from the Passion.
God, because we're all God's children. I'm just saying.
That's the top. That's
I'm
the
just
ultimate
saying you
right
can't
there.
top nothing because we're all God's children. You can't top him.
I'm not topping that, especially the ass whooping he took.
Yeah,
I ain't topping that. But
he deserves some tissues and some.
Yeah,
sorries.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that's. I mean, like I said, those are now real quick. Let's go over some terrible, terrible dads from movies. We know Vader, but you know he could have had a chance.
I would take Vader off that list because they wouldn't allow him to see his kids. They hid his kids.
Bruh, you know what he would have did with them kids. He'd have turned them to the dark side.
Don't matter, dark side or not, he still took care of him like he was supposed to.
Didn't pay no child support. Didn't buy no Pampers. No,
I think the top of the list is to be Thanos.
Oh,
Thanos is.
Hey, you know what? Wait. You know what? It had me think about that the other day. But it had me thinking about this the other day. You know how we sometimes see like these fan films. Remember the guy that did the film Superman versus Darth Vader? I want to see Darth Vader versus Thanos. Let somebody make that. Let's see. Could Thanos really beat Darth Vader?
He may not even be able to get close. I'm not now Thanos without the gauntlet, of course. Without the Infinity Gauntlet.
But I'm saying even if he has all the stones.
Nah, if he has the Infinity Gauntlet, then he can beat
him. Could he?
Yes.
Could.
Yes. I don't know, man.
He could beat him with the Infinity Gauntlet and all the stones. He can dust him away. Like it's never been to dust him away.
Listen, just with Reality Stone alone, he can confuse Vader and walk up on him and snap his neck.
Yeah, it has to be Thanos without the stones, because Thanos still badass without the stones now.
Yeah, because if people forget, Thanos isn't an eternal.
Yeah, he's basically an eternal, and then he look how he put that beating on the Hulk, man. I don't care if people keep forgetting about that. He beat the Hulk into submission.
And listen,
he beat the Hulk never came back after.
He was like, no.
I blame the writers for that. That's not his. He wanted to come back, and the writers kept putting him, no, you're going to stay over here and be Professor Hulk. And you know what? The other reason why Thanos beat the Hulk is because that was still untrained Hulk in battle.
Yeah.
He ain't really, because I think if Thanos,
no, he's not untrained. That's after Ragnarok. He's been spending all them years.
No, but in Endgame, he's Hulk / Banner, like they're together. So he's aware. He's
but not in Infinity. Not in Infinity War. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
in Infinity War. He was.
But if we kept it in context of comic books, World War Hulk would have been a problem.
Well, I mean, yeah, but see, in the MCU, Ragnarok was our World War Hulk, basically, because they implied that he was there all them years battling. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing: he didn't find out that they actually sent him to the planet, though.
Well. In the MCU, they didn't send him. He went himself.
Well, and technically speaking, he sent himself there. He got in the Quinjet
and just kind of ended up there. But now what they could do if they wanted to, now that they done brought in the Illuminati and stuff, they can go ahead and somewhere else in another movie, they can see where the Illuminati manipulated that he ended up there. You know.
And wait a minute. And if we go back to before that, if they keep the comics accurate, that excuse my language, that nigga held up a mountain for everybody. When that mountain was going to fall on everybody in Secret Wars, Hulk held it up. A whole mountain.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, those are the ones. Oh, so Thanos is number one on the terrible father list.
But is he though? Because he sacrificed his daughter for humanity.
There you go. He sacrificed his daughter.
But that's even worse. That's not his daughter. Remember, he stole her. That's not
No,
his kid. He stole her.
No, he didn't steal her. That was his daughter. Because look at how she looks. That was his daughter. He specifically went back to that planet and snatched her up.
Then he stole her.
No, she
that's
had
not his
she had
natural
parents.
kid.
That wasn't his birth
Right, he killed him.
You know, he killed her parents. But
he killed him.
He just killed the mother. He didn't kill the dad. He just killed the mother. That's what I'm saying. That's why.
Well, the dad could have already been dead. So
yeah,
I don't see
and he's definitely terrible. The guy he treated both his daughters. He sacrificed one, and the other one he just treated like crap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about Nebula. Yeah, he
treated her terrible.
Points for that.
And bad dads, we're gonna throw Nicolas Cage from Face Off because he was a bad dad.
Yeah, he was a bad dad in that one.
He was a bad dad.
Castor Troy was a bad.
Castor Troy.
Oh yeah, but that's his character. Yeah, because I was gonna say, he made up for it in the last movie he did.
Oh man. You know who else I wanted to put back on the good dads list though? My man, the dad. I don't remember his name, the character's name, but it was John Krasinski's character in Quiet Place.
Yeah, well, I would say.
Yeah.
Sacrifice himself.
Sacrifice the life for his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sacrifice yourself, you automatically get put onto the good side.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to.
But then, wait. So technically, we still have to put Vader on the good side because did he or did he not give up his life for his kid?
He didn't willingly give up his life. He just tried to save him. That was it.
But
he didn't know he was gonna die.
Yes, he did. He knew he was gonna die.
He didn't know
he was gonna get all that electricity. Yes, he did. He knew the Emperor was gonna come after him. So
I don't know if that's a redemption enough, man. That guy is terrible.
Hey,
let's segue into the.
But did he become a Force ghost? You don't become a Force ghost if you're bad. You become a Force ghost if you're
No,
good.
he was redeemed. He redeemed himself as far as getting back to he redeemed himself before he died. Right before he died, he pulled one of those on your deathbed. You've been a bastard all your life, and then you talk about some God. I'm sorry. Then you want to repent. God, I love you. I repent, and then die and go to heaven.
He's the bastard all his life. His kids made the choice when they got older that we ain't fucking with you. So
the other day I was talking to a friend of mine who's originally not from this country, and she's young. She's young. She's only like 20, 26 years old. So she's not that the way she was brought up. She never watches TV. So a lot of things when I talk about her in pop culture, she has no idea. So we were talking about Kenobi the other day. She said, "Who's Darth Vader?" And I was like, "Hold up. You don't know who Darth Vader is?" She was like, "No." So I had to explain to her who Darth Vader is, and she was like, "Well, why did he try to kill his son? Who's the Emperor?" I was like, "See, we're gonna have to sit down. I'm gonna have to break out the Blu-ray version box sets of Star Wars. We're gonna have to sit down. We got 10 movies to go through that deal with Darth Vader, and we got a TV show to deal with.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take like 3 days.
I want to say that I want to give a shout out to Deborah Child. She understands the assignment. When she took on this series, she knew the first thing any Star Wars fan, any real Star Wars fan, is gonna wonder is how is Vader gonna play into this series? And what she did was continue what Rogue One basically started with the badassness of Vader. Yeah. And I mean, the most recent episode, he was so badass. I mean, it was such a pleasure to watch because it was just like, wow.
They did the super fake on him. Yo,
Huh?
when he grabbed that ship, spoilers.
Oh my god. Yeah, spoiler. But if you haven't seen it, I mean, the new episode will be out in
by
2
now.
days. If you haven't seen it, oh well. But spoiler
It's too
anyway.
late.
But
It's too
when
late.
he grabbed that, it's too late. When he pulled that ship, yeah, bro, that was something right out of one of the video games. The one with Star Killer.
Yep.
Yo, but what I like about that, it solidified for those who were talking shit about Anakin. I mean, about Kylo, not Kylo. What's his name?
Who?
Is it Kylo?
Kylo Ren?
Girl, what's the guy's name?
Kylo Ren.
In the last Star Wars.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Oh, Kylo Ren, yeah.
Yeah, Ben. He's been what you call it? Ben.
Yes, the other.
Whatever the hell he is. Ben Solo.
But that lifts the fact when Kylo Ren grabbed that ship and supposedly killed Chewbacca, and nobody, that I like the fact that was a nice reach back to be like, for all of you that talk shit about that in the movie to say, oh, well, with all their endless list of complaints, they can't do that with the Force. Vader did.
Strong enough with the Force, you can do it.
But no,
I mean, hell,
you know what?
Yoda lifted the whole.
But now we open the box up.
Yoda,
but now that
Yoda lifted an X-wing.
Yep.
A whole X-wing. Yeah.
But here's the question. Now the question is, since you see Vader do this in Kenobi, why didn't he do the same thing in Rogue One? Because the ship is right there. He could have stopped the ship right then and there. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, why didn't he do that in Rogue One?
But see, Ralph, that goes back to, you got to remember, Ben Kenobi at the time wasn't that straight. He was just getting his strength back in the Force.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said if you see Vader in this, yank that shit down. So in Rogue One, why doesn't he yank this shit back when it was laid the shit when it was escaping? He could have stopped it right then and there.
No. Obi-Wan couldn't have done that because
Vader.
What?
He said
Vader.
Oh, Vader. Oh, Vader.
In the Rogue One, when you see the ship escaping, Vader standing right there. He could have just put his hand out and brought the ship back. It didn't have to escape.
Well,
maybe he didn't think to do it.
Well, two reasons. One, he couldn't grab it because it was in warp speed, for lack of a better phrase. So he wasn't pulling that back because the ship had already escaped. So he wasn't getting it because it was off his radar because he was focused on what he was doing. So when that ship escaped, that's why he turned around the way he did and walked away into that scene, I believe. Because
and I agree with you there, Kev. And you got to add to the fact that this point, you got to remember he is extra hyped up, to get to Obi-Wan. He wants him bad. This is right after Obi-Wan basically, freaking what made him what he is. Chopped off his arms, his legs, and
put him in that damn suit.
His hate, and that's why they, once again, Deborah Chow understanding the assignment. That's why they did that scene where you showed them. They kept going back and forth with the scene of them fencing because once again it sets you up for that. He knew that Vader didn't have the patience. He knew that Vader, he didn't have that stuff. He knew that. That's why he was like, he's gonna come here. They're like, oh no, he doesn't have the patience to wait it out. He's coming. What I'm saying? He knew that.
He showed up on the planet. Spoilers.
Yep. And that's exactly what he does. Comes there. Boom. I mean, that whole scene was great. And I mean, it was just
and here's the thing, not to cut you off. That means they jerked him twice on that. Because they did it to him then with the fake out ship, and then they did it to him again when he got on the rebel ship, and they sent him off with the information on the other ship. So he twice. So he was really tight.
Yeah. And we're gonna do some quick predictions. But speaking of predictions, I'm about to pat myself on the back real quick.
Yeah, man, take your bow, man. You was 100%. 100% right.
And it has to be something personal. This is not just I want to get in the good graces of Darth Vader. This is personal. She because she's going against the protocol of the other Inquisitors and stuff like that. And because of that, that shows me this is personal. So why else would it be personal? What did Obi-Wan do to her? I think what he indirectly did to her was he created Darth Vader. And Darth Vader is probably, her. I won't be surprised if she attacks Vader before it's all said and done.
I would.
Killing her.
I would.
Right.
Well, and I said that I was surprised. I was surprised that she did.
Yeah, right on point, baby.
Take your bow, man. Take your bows, because
get that man out of the This was last Monday, people. Just for y'all who didn't know, that was last Monday when I predicted that she would attack, that Reva would attack Vader. I just said I wouldn't be surprised if she did it, and almost everything to the note. I was right on. I knew she was a youngling. I felt she was that youngling because they showed that one. Like, no, you never show nothing for nothing, right?
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? So they showed not these people. I mean, if you're dealing with like Courtney Kemp with power or something, yeah, they show stuff and then never revisit it. But not these people, these writers, these directors. They're too good. They're not going to do that.
And I want to add an asterisk to that. To my added sprinkle of rainbow sprinkles on that, when I said that she was that she would turn on Vader because I thought she was an agent, and technically,
like a double agent. But you were kind of right with that too, because she just inserted herself. She was
right,
kind of like a double agent, you know what I mean? In a way, she kind of she made her own plan. You know what I'm saying? Like she's kind of working for herself.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. She ain't working for nobody. She working for herself. She trying to avenge what happened to her. And like I said, that's why I was thinking, like, yo, I mean, it's just brilliant the way they pulled it all together. But I'm just like,
I got chills when she said, what did she say to Obi-Wan? When he was basically telling her, listen, join us. And what did she say? She said, he'll see it coming. Something like that.
What makes you think? What makes you think that he won't see it coming?
And he did,
because he'd be so focused on it.
He did see it coming because remember, at the end of that, he had set her up from the beginning, making her the Grand Inquisitor. He already saw it coming. He knew she was not right. Even if he didn't know exactly what was going on, he knew she wasn't right. That's why he set her up and made her the Grand Inquisitor and all that stuff. But then the other one comes back. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, Vader's a step ahead of you, yo. I know you nice and all that. You a little badass doing your little parkour across the rooftops, but you messing with a G right now. You messing with an OG. It's not we already know that. And the funny thing is, think about this. Technically, Vader isn't that old. Because
he's in his 20s.
He's still young. Yeah.
He's in his 20s. And that's the only reason,
because he struck down all those people. He did all that killing. That makes him more powerful in the dark side. So that's why he's so powerful, from killing all those people, killing those younglings, you know what I mean?
And I think that's the only reason why, like that, when I'm talking about in Rogue One, where he didn't pull the shit back, is because this Rogue One is 10 years later. So at that point, he hasn't been fighting anybody. He's just, there's no one left for him to fight. So, you know what happens when you don't fight? Your skills get kind of diminished.
Older, your skills get a little more.
But not in the case of Vader, because remember, he was still choking people out. So he was in.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, the choke part.
That's
that part in the Force.
But all the other
He's gonna be able to throw people around with no problem. But what you're saying is maybe he's not, focused enough to be pulling back a starship or powerful enough to be pulling back.
If that's the case, then that would mean in that episode, when he did it, he wasn't young enough to do it. See, he had to be spending some time. It's because he was spending time with what's his face. God damn it! What's the Palpatine? So him spending time with Palpatine is what advanced his skill level and his anger.
Force, yeah, I agree.
And also his anger at Ben Kenobi. On top of that, and his anger for
all together, he was just so angry. He was just an angry person, and his anger, as you saw, his anger for Obi-Wan's been building since the second movie, since Attack of the Clones. You know what I mean? He was talking about Obi-Wan holding them back then.
Yeah, and the one thing that we all know, anger, like alcohol, makes people. I won't say make bad decisions, but it's a very good motivator for people to do shit or to grow. And I mean, even take Homegirl from Kill Bill.
Yeah,
her motivation was her anger towards Bill.
Yeah.
So she was like, "Look,
everybody got to go. Everybody that know Bill got to go."
That's when I mean, I definitely want to switch gears, but I mean, when I first saw Kill Bill, right? I mean, that's one. I'm sorry, man. I love Tarantino. Maybe I'm a little partial to him, but that's one of the most badass stories that I've seen in a long time in cinema. Like that story was like it was an Americanized version of like a ill kung fu flick, as far as like avenging. That's where it was. That's what it was. But it was,
that's what it was. But what I'm saying is, it was definitely off rip. It was an American film, but what it did was it paid homage to what came before.
Yeah,
like
of course.
It played homage to Enter the Dragon with Bruce. Oh, not that Enter the Dragon. What's the one where he had the one where he was at the Pappers going up Game of Death? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Game of Death. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was paying homage to that. Then
with the jumpsuit.
Yeah, with the jumpsuit. Then with her master, it was paying homage to the Shaw brothers. Yeah. And they actually had Master Killer teaching her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was paying homage to that. That's what I love about that film. It's just all around. It took everything that you love about Kung Fu, whether it was an American Kung Fu flick or whether it was an Asian Kung Fu flick, and brought it all together in one flick. Not in one, but two.
Yeah, it was just now I want to answer this question from Joseph. I'm going to answer this question from Joseph. He said, I thought Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, was more powerful than Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. But here's the thing, Joseph, and I believe what it is I don't think he was more powerful than him. He was more experienced at the time. But the reason why he got Vader on his side, because Vader was more powerful than him. Eventually would be more.
He even tells you he's more powerful than the both. When he's fighting Yoda, he said more powerful than the both of us.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Palpatine understood where Anakin was in the Force. Mm-hmm. He understood that with his rebellious side, his don't want to listen. It's my way.
Exactly how to manipulate him. He knew exactly how to seduce him.
Exactly.
Not just manipulate him, seduce him. He knew exactly how to do. He knew that, just like what Yoda said earlier in the other movie, how his fear will turn to this and that. And Yoda said you got to train yourself to let go of what you fear to lose. But he knew that the reverse of that is put all your energy into trying not to lose what you fear to lose, and that's going to put you on the path of the dark side. So that's why he told him about Darth Plagueis that can raise the dead with the Force. He told him about that because even though he knew that Anakin would probably never get to that level, at least not anytime soon, but he told him that to give him some sort of
He basically
false
put
hope,
back.
some sort of false hope and motivation to be like, yo, I gotta protect Padme. I can't let what happened to my mother happen to her, and I keep having these premonitions about you dying. Like Anakin was mad powerful. He was definitely, so to answer your question, Joseph, he actually was more powerful than
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, he was having premonitions.
The part that he had visions, and he was already locked into the Force.
Yeah, he was. He was definitely more. I mean, they all knew that though. They all knew from it was established in Episode 1 that he was supposed to bring balance to the Force. He was the most powerful.
Yoda was like, "Yo, I see things too," and that one right there is gonna be a problem.
He knew it was gonna be a problem, and they wasn't gonna train him. It was Obi-Wan only trained him because he promised Qui-Gon that he'd train him. That was really it. Speaking of which, so Qui-Gon, there's a lot of people thinking that Qui-Gon may make an appearance in this finale. I think he would too. I mean, you're gonna at the very least hear his voice. I don't know if Liam Neeson is gonna appear, but that would be great. I think, to be honest with you, once again, I would be surprised if he doesn't, only because most of the time you don't show things for nothing. At the very beginning setup of this series, they showed a recap, and in that recap, they showed Yoda telling Obi-Wan, "I will teach you to commune with Qui-Gon." That didn't have to be in the recap, that particular part, because you could just recap everything that happened leading up to that. You know, with Padme dying, and we'll take the kids, and I'll watch the boy, and this and that. That's all that had to be in there. You didn't have to put Qui-Gon, "I will teach you to commune with him." You didn't have to put that in there. So I think that it's in there for a reason. Yeah. So once again, for the fact that they would put that in there, got to tell me at the very least we will hear Qui-Gon's voice. At the very least.
Yeah.
It would be great to see him as a Force ghost.
It'd be awesome. I got a prediction. I think in tomorrow night that obviously Vader and Kenobi gonna get it on again. It wouldn't surprise me if Vader hears Padme's voice. Like he's about to kill Kenobi, and you hear her voice telling him to Annie, stop it. Something like that. That would not surprise me to hear her voice show up.
That would be interesting. I mean, she wasn't Force sensitive for all we know, at least. It would be interesting unless that's just a voice in his head, not per se a Force ghost, but just a voice in his head that
just a voice in his head.
You can still have a voice in your head that, hey, Padme would not want this, or whatever. And just remember, let's be honest, even his guilt could lead him to that because he knows that he killed her because the Emperor told him, in your anger, you killed her. He made sure he told him that because that was gonna flip him entirely. Like he was already on the side of the Force, but it's like, no, there's nothing to live for now. I might as well just kill everybody. So, but I do think that we will have a Qui-Gon appearance, whether it's in ghost form or just his voice. Remember Rey, even Rey pulled, she conjured up the voices of all of them. I mean, when she was fighting Palpatine, she was fighting the Emperor. She had all of the voices reached out to her. All of the big, powerful Jedis.
And it wouldn't surprise me to hear his mother pop up because I'm guessing Vader's going back to Tatooine.
Maybe
because if that's
I don't know. See, I don't know if they'll bring him there. The reason why I don't think they should, and I kind of hope they don't, because it's just gonna be hard for me to understand that Vader is on Tatooine and does not sense Luke is his son. That just bothers. That would bother me. And I think Deborah Chow and all them, they've been so careful at doing all of this. I think Reva is going to Tatooine. But I don't know if Vader's going to make it there. Because Obi-Wan would probably try to distract him from going there. You know what I'm saying? And Obi-Wan will go to him before he lets him get to Tatooine. You know what I mean? He'll say, you know what? I'm just gonna meet Vader and go to him before I let him get, because if he gets anywhere really on, I mean, if he goes on to Tatooine, right? I think I would have a problem, not a problem, but that I wouldn't like that, because it feels like, how did he not see? It's different. Like, you know, what people always used to say was, well, how Vader not sense his son? Well, people used to always say that Obi-Wan was there, and they were trying to help, like, almost cloak Luke from, Vader. And the fact that Luke doesn't know anything about the Force or nothing like that, about his Force powers manifested or anything like that. No one's teaching him about it. So even though he's Force sensitive, he never actually put it in motion. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. But Vader, maybe Vader can only sense him once his Force powers get into motion. You know what I mean? So maybe that's maybe that's what it is. It definitely has to be connected to the Force. But like I could see Leia's Force sensitivity kicking in before Luke's, because she's so active as a young child. Getting into battles and stuff like that. So I can see that activating before Luke. Luke's didn't activate until Obi-Wan told him about it. So that was until he was, whatever, a teenager or whatever he was in A New Hope. So, but I'm hoping, and the way Deborah Chow has been just hitting everything on the nail on the head, I'm thinking she's gonna find a way to keep Darth Vader from coming up Tatooine. But what we just kind of talked about, maybe I guess I can accept the fact that, well, Luke's Force abilities hasn't even kicked in yet, so he can't really sense him, as his son. I don't know, but I think, to me, if it was me, I'd stay away from it altogether, because you're gonna have those a-hole Star Wars fans trying to poke holes at it anyway. And just me personally, I just think, just stay away from it.
They're already
Reva's gonna. Now, why do you think? Here's a question for both of you. Why do you think Reva is going? If she goes, why do you think she's gonna go to Tatooine? Do you think she's going to Tatooine to try to? Because she done put it together. So was she gonna try to use Luke to hurt Vader? You know what I'm saying?
Kidnap his son. That's
right, kidnap his son.
Or try to, I think, which is more powerful, she's going, since she's an Inquisitor, no longer a Jedi. Or Jedi.
She ain't even an Inquisitor
kill
no
his
more.
son so that he. Right. But I'm saying she still is of the Inquisitor. But I think she would go to Tatooine to kill Luke so that Vader would experience the pain that she's been feeling all these years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But Vader doesn't know he has a son. So we know that that's not gonna. Okay, so we know, knowing what we know that can't happen, because he never knew he had a son. So we know that somehow she if that is her plan, she'll be foiled. Her plan will be foiled.
Well, the only reason, I'm sorry, Wes, not to cut you off. The only reason why I agree with what Ralph is saying is because it would be fuel for fire for him if she did even attempt to kill Luke, and then somehow he
I agree.
finds it,
Right.
and then
I
somehow he
agree.
finds out about it. Because remember, they already
But I don't know
hinted
if
at
he'll
the fact
forget
that
about it. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're gonna. I don't believe that's too much of a. That's too much of a not a plot hole, but that's too much of a.
well, it's not. That's why I was going to add a point. It's because Leia. Remember, there was a couple of times while what's her face, the Inquisitor, was looking for her and Obi-Wan when she finally caught up with her. I think she probably sensed that Leia is force sensitive. Because remember, Leia is a little bit more force sensitive than Luke is.
Yeah.
When we find out,
I agree. No, I'm sure she. I mean, that's how she'd have to put it together because the fact that she only saw half of that message, but she knows that that guy was Leia's father, allegedly, and the
that's
way
it.
he was talking on that message, that's probably why she put it together. But she definitely knows that Luke. She definitely done figured out that Luke is probably related to Vader. But the whole thing is this. I just don't think Deborah Chow would do that because it's just going to raise too many questions. She's looking to satisfy, not raise a bunch of questions because there he cannot be tipped off whatsoever that he has kids. Because at the end of the day, you could tease people and it gets close, but at the end of the day, he can't be tipped off because it doesn't go with the continuity of him not knowing that he had a son.
Now I'm gonna throw this on the table. I think what you're gonna get tomorrow, you're gonna get Ahsoka somewhere up in there. It wouldn't surprise me
That'd be nice.
if
That'd
if
be nice.
if she is on going after Luke's kid, that Ahsoka is there because I don't know
That'd be
because
nice.
I just got that feeling because they're talking about they're gonna have Ahsoka starting this year. So why not bring
I agree with you. That'd be a perfect segue to have, even though she was already in the Mandalorian and she was in Boba Fett and that, so but that would be nice to see her in the show that's pretty much coming on right before hers, I guess.
but how about the fact that if she's on, maybe how about the fact that she's possibly on Tatooine, and maybe that's the protection for Luke.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe she could be. Exactly. I mean, she definitely is well aware. It would be nice. Well, now that you say that, Ralph, I'd love to see her and Reva go at it. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah, I like that one, Ralph. I like that. I'm wishing for that one now. I want to see Ahsoka and Reva
frankly,
go at it.
I want to see I want to see this Ahsoka and Vader go at it again. For real, because I think that'd just be the fight. But it wouldn't surprise me if Ahsoka is really, because I'm thinking about, because in the Mandalorian, not Mandalorian, and Boba Fett, Ahsoka is pretty friendly with Luke. So she would have had to known him for a minute. Now maybe this is an intern between Jedi and when the Book of Boba Fett is, but I'm thinking she would have known him for a while now. It ain't like you just met him on a Monday and you kicking it on his home planet on a Tuesday.
The only thing that I'm not worried about, but the only thing that with Ahsoka, right? She's still at this point still kind of young. She's still younger because this is not far after the Clone Wars. It's 10 years later, not even, right? About 10 years later, but she's still, so she might be she's still old enough for you to have old girl play her. She just would still be younger than what we've seen her in Mandalorian, but she's still an adult by now because if it's 10 years later, she's an adult by now. So that's cool. That would still work then. Scratch that, what I said. That would still work. But I would love to see her. But what I think is actually going to happen is somehow, remember I said last week that I think she's going to, attack Vader or turn on Vader. I believe at the end of the day, I believe she is going to die, Reva, and I believe she's going to die helping Obi-Wan. even though she still doesn't seem like she wants to help Obi-Wan. I think at the end of the day, she's going, all Jedis or all people that turn to the dark side, most of the time, find a way to get back, right? So that one redemption factor, that's like a Star Wars thing, right? So that one redemption factor to get you back, on the light side before you bite it. So, and that's what I think. Eventually, I think she's gonna die. Maybe like saving Obi-Wan, either jumping in front of Vader's lightsaber, or something, and she's gonna sacrifice to help Obi-Wan in some sort of way. I believe what I would have done, what I would do. I mean, I'm just whoever I am, but I would have definitely keep Vader away from Tatooine. I would, because Obi-Wan seems like the type that he's so. Because think about it, if this is how he feels, and this is what we all know, if he finds out about Luke, it's over. It's over. Game over. Because if he finds out about Luke, it's game over. Luke was more, was destined to be just as more powerful than him. You know what I'm saying? So if he could have him and train him into the dark side, game over. So Obi-Wan would go all out to make sure he doesn't go to Tatooine. He would literally go to him first. They're like, no, I gotta sacrifice myself. I gotta go to him, because even if he kills me, he can't know about Luke. So that's what I think. But I think Reva somehow I believe that she does have the intentions to go there to with malice to kidnap or kill Luke, knowing or figuring out that it's Darth Vader's son, offspring. But I believe she's somehow going to be foiled by that. And I tell you, Ahsoka intercepting her would be awesome. That would be awesome. Ahsoka intercepting her and fighting her. That would be awesome.
Wait a minute. I just thought about this. I just thought about this. Right. You know what? What if, because Vader doesn't know that Luke doesn't know that Luke is his son. Right? What if he did come to Tatooine, right? But Reva and Kenobi did something to give the illusion that she was going, like she sacrificed something, that she kills Vader's child that Vader didn't know about, and in his anger he kills her. So now he's thinking that his child, that he doesn't have a kid anymore, right? That he never knew that he doesn't have a kid. That he knows anyway. So he goes away, but all the time it was done to protect the fact that Luke does live. Right? It becomes a setup where you see her look like she's striking him down.
Right. My only poke at that is he definitely knew she was having twins. He knew Padme was having twins. So even if, let's say, that storyline went down, wouldn't it prompt him to go and look for, because if one's alive, the other one's probably alive too. So maybe he would start looking for Leia now. You know what I mean? Because if he knows my only issue with him knowing that he has a child is that he would know that he had twins. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew they was having twins. So now him finding out about Luke, and I like that idea of him finding out but thinking Luke was killed, right? I do like that idea, because then that would give you a reason why he wasn't looking for Luke or whatever, or he didn't sense him because he just, whatever.
Or he was
dead. Right. So I could definitely rock with that. I wouldn't throw rocks at that. I just, what would make me think beyond everything would be, well, he knows that Padme had twins. So if if he finds out that his son was alive and he didn't know, and so maybe his daughter is too, you know. So that's the only thing that would. But I like that idea though. That would be kind of cool, even for her to say that she killed him and she really didn't, you know. But I don't know. We'll have to see how it turns out. But I tell you, you really got me thinking about that Ahsoka thing. That would be so awesome, man. If she would show up and fight Reva, that would be a nice battle. Because we really didn't get a chance to see Reva get busy because she didn't do nothing with Vader. She couldn't get. It was not. It was a nice little. She tried. He
was just toying with her.
She tried.
You want to really fight?
That's what's funny. He was toying and she was going hard.
He's like, he just told everybody, like, go ahead, try it again.
Yo, Reese, what's up? Thank you for joining.
Hey, Reese.
Yeah. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I think she was going hard, boy. She broke out the Darth Maul style. She was doing all types of. He was just like, boom, boom, bop,
tried hard,
bop, 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 boom. You know, like. So, yeah, I
gotta get credit with credit too, because remember I said it before, like I was not interested in seeing Kenobi originally because I thought it was gonna be another Solo, but after I saw the trailer I was like, but now I can't believe I'm so into this series.
Yo,
damn, this is
because she
what
did
the
so
prequel
well.
should have been. This is what the prequel should have been. You know,
because I mean, Vader is just—that's what everyone wants to see, man. They want to see Vader because ever since the first thing that stick for even people our ages, we grew up with the movies, and those movies, the originals, are awesome. But like when you started seeing when the prequels came, you start seeing all that nice lightsaber fighting and stuff like that. We still never got a chance to see Vader get ill with the lightsaber fighting. You know what I mean? Because we know that it's Anakin, and although Anakin now has robotic parts, he's still Anakin. He could still get busy with the lightsaber fighting. He just uses the Force now more because, number one, he doesn't have, obviously, his motor skills that he had when he was just Anakin, you know, because he was a beast with Anakin, you know, all types of flipping everything around. You know, he can't do that no more, but he relies a lot on his powers of the Force. He fights with both the Force and the lightsaber, you know. And remember, the Force helps you with your lightsaber fighting as well. You know, look at Palpatine's old ass when he started fighting with the lightsaber. He was fighting, you know, he doing all types of spins and flips and all. So that was
doing
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I agree with that, Greasy. Those tuning in, hit the like button. Exactly. Like share, you know what I mean? Subscribe. Hit that subscribe, comment, you know what I mean? Definitely share it with your friends. So just over some of the other that was our predictions. So let's talk a little bit about this idiot real quick. So it's been it's being reported that, you know, Warner Brothers is pretty much, you know, they haven't officially. I still haven't seen I've seen a lot of reports on their opinions and a lot of reports saying this, that, and the other. They haven't officially fired Ezra Miller yet. But they, you know, you get reports, they are, you know, not going to move forward with him. But not moving forward with him, it's basically firing him, you know? Because who knows if he had any more contracts with, you know, to do any more Flash appearances or anything like that. But the bottom line is Warner Brothers is fed up with all of this stuff that's going on. He's just got, you know, it's got too much going on right now. He's got too much going on.
Yeah, I don't think they're as fed up as the media is making it seem. especially like even with the Amber Heard thing with all these false. It's like you got to swim through a whole bunch of false articles to find the truth. Like
Right. Well, the latest thing with I'm glad you bring up Amber Heard. The latest thing with her though is that, and I think they're also kind of using it as an excuse. But the latest thing with her is that the test screenings didn't go well, and they don't like now. That's like an official report. Like a Warner Brothers person said that. A Warner Brothers person said that the chemistry with her and Jason Momoa wasn't there. It's not there. It feels forced. And he's like, you could create chemistry in post if you need to, but it wasn't naturally there. Is what that was from somebody that worked at Warner Brothers said that.
Here's the thing, though, that doesn't wash with me because they really weren't like a love interest. It was hinted, but they really weren't like. Oh,
well, they're supposed to be a love interest because she's supposed to be his queen. Eventually, she becomes Queen Mira. So eventually, they gotta be a love interest. So maybe this one it is more of a love interest because now it takes place, sometime after. So they are probably love interest in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably love interest in this one now because you have to start building up to the point where she becomes his queen.
What are they going to do now? Are they basically scrapping all of her scenes? Because that would probably be, and if they were building up for her to be a love interest, it would make sense to me that she's probably in about a good 50% or more of the movie.
No, she's not at 50% because from what I understand from the test screenings, she's in about not 50%. She may be at about 30, 35% or 30% or something like that. Because it makes you feel like if they're talking about they said they are discussing doing reshoots with Jason Momoa and Nicole Kidman. That tells me that they may have, most of her scenes are probably with them. Most of her scenes are probably with them. You know what I'm saying? So there's probably scenes that they feel they could cut out that they don't. She probably never really seen without one of them in her scenes. So if they're gonna reshoot Jason Momoa and reshoot Nicole Kidman, then if that happens, like I said, there's no official, but there's what is official was they were not happy with the test screenings. They wasn't happy with that, the audience testing, stuff like that.
They're never happy with anything.
Well, they're never happy with test screenings, but what they're saying was, I know one of those representatives. Well, I mean, sometimes, but they always find something. But I think personally that they're going to use that as an excuse because they're going to use it as an excuse. If they do it, that's going to be their excuse. So they can say, no, we're not replacing her because of the whole trial thing. We're replacing her because it just didn't work.
Yes, we are.
No, that's what they're gonna say.
Because if it didn't work this time, it wasn't working. It worked. How come it worked so great the first time? Oh, it was good. So she wasn't on trial, but you kept her in there. Yeah. Stop it.
But also that sucks on how that reflects on James Wan because him and Jason Momoa fought to keep her in the film. So it I
mean, I get it. I just think, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna. I definitely believe, because this guy's just making it worse. And if he doesn't lay low, he's going to ruin this movie.
Well, you heard some of the articles. I think he's already the studio is waiting for this whole thing to blow over. They're just hoping that people just forget about it. And that's what
they're hoping for. They're hoping for it, but that's what I mean by him laying low, meaning you're gonna have to stay out the media, bro. So just you have to do what you got to do to lay low, whatever that is. You got to do it. So maybe it can blow over a little bit because once you start pulling in these stupid allegations and all this stuff, you start bringing in quote unquote. You start using the word minor, even though she's not even a minor no more. You know what I'm saying? But even just using that word, he was grooming a minor and this and that. It puts such a stench on you as a person, as an actor, that these studios just don't want to be associated with. It doesn't help that he's an a-hole and he goes out and keeps getting in trouble and getting in fights and all these other stupid things that he does.
Yeah.
That doesn't help either. So it's just like, listen.
And also add to the fact that what they're hoping for is this generation's short-term memory and how quickly they move on to one controversy after another one. So
that's what they're hoping. They're hoping somebody else. If I'm at Warner Bros., I'll be like, look, you know what? Let's bring back this Joss Whedon stuff. Let's get the
we need the Kanye. We need a real serious Kanye outbreak.
Yeah, where's Kanye when we need him? Where's Kanye when we need him right now? We need Kanye to do something crazy or say something crazy.
Pete Davidson is giving her the D. What you got to say about it?
Yeah, exactly. Just say that up there. Be like, yo, bro, what's good, man? Nah, but speaking of which, I want to say this real quick since we talking about it has nothing to do with Kanye, but since we talk about that whole social media thing, there was a ridiculous not reports, but there was this ridiculous notion that was started actually by a freaking football player, and then Joe Buttons jumped on it about Chris Brown being more talented than Michael Jackson, and that just like went viral and all this other stuff and craziness. And Joe Button did a show, his podcast, and he starts talking about, oh yeah, I think so, I agree with that. Yeah, he probably is more talented than him and this guy. They're running down stupid things like, oh well, he can dance, sing, and write, and he could draw, and he could play ball. Like, play ball? What does that have to do with? He could play ball. The guy said he could play ball. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Not a damn thing.
I'm like, and second of all,
how do you know that Michael Jackson and Prince ain't really playing ball on the low?
Second of all,
we know Prince was playing ball.
We know Prince could play ball. We knew Prince could play ball. But second of all, Michael Jackson could draw. For the people who don't know that, Michael Jackson was drawing when he was a kid. Michael Jackson was like 7 years old drawing dope pictures, and he's been drawing throughout his career. He actually, if I'm not mistaken, he drew the album cover to Victory. That Victory album cover that they had with all of them on it, the whole Jacksons. He drew that. Huh?
Didn't he do the concept art for Destiny?
I think so. He did. I mean, he does. He did. He took part in all of that stuff. His album covers and stuff. He took a part in designing them, like the album. What was that?
His videos. He was basically.
So what I'm saying is he drew. People didn't know that he could draw.
One more thing I got to throw on top of there. He shut Quincy Jones down for the Thriller album and said, "Nah, B, it needs to go this way. What you trying to do, that don't work no more. This is what it is right here. We need to do this." And Quincy Jones was fighting him tooth and nail on that throw.
Yeah. The bottom line is this: there are very few people, and actually Tank pointed this out, but there are very few people that Michael Jackson is one of those few, or was one of those few, that can go into a studio by himself and come out with an album. Because he doesn't need an engineer, nothing. He doesn't need none of that stuff. He can go in the studio by himself, produce the music, write the music, sing all the backgrounds, sing all the leads, and engineer it himself. He doesn't need anyone to turn out records.
Above all of that, he's talented enough to know who to reach out to get.
Of course, right? Because bottom line is this: let's about to reach into our producer chops real quick, Kev, just to educate people, just in case you don't know. You can produce a record and not actually play the instruments. You can still produce a record. If you, like Timbaland, who probably took his cue from Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson used to beatbox and do his own little like rhythms for a track to produce a track. And obviously, if he don't know how to play a certain instrument, he will bring someone in that can and tell them what he wants, basically. Listen. And that people is what you call a producer. That's how you produce a track. So there's plenty. Wait, one more thing, Kev.
Go ahead.
There's plenty of producers out there, and that's what makes like for instance, that's what makes a lot of different producers who they are, and they may not even play instruments, but they are the ones who orchestrate and construct everything and give the ideas.
Thank you.
That you're still a producer,
Thank
right?
you.
So, it's just that there's very few people that does everything. That's like Prince and Stevie Wonder, and maybe Marvin Gaye did a lot of his own stuff too. People just didn't know that Marvin Gaye played a lot of instruments and stuff like that.
Ray Charles.
So, yeah. So people like that who do their own thing, there's very few of them. That's very few.
Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
Right.
Flavor Flav is nice. He's a classically trained pianist.
Exactly.
He's classically trained.
And can play about.
Alicia's like that. She can go into there. She can do that.
Yeah. Alicia could probably. I think so too. I think Alicia could go in because Tank had made that point, and because he was saying about that he can do that, right? So I was like, all right, well, whatever. That's what he said. He said he's like there's no art. He said there's only 3 artists I could think of, because he was basically on like Drink Champs or whatever, and he was telling you like all the stuff that he does. He's like, there's only 3 artists that I could think of that can go into a studio by them, other than me, that could go into a studio by themselves and come out with a record. He said, and 2 of them are dead. The other one's in jail. He was talking about R. Kelly. He was he was like 2 of them are dead, 1's in prison. He's like, other than those 3.
Well, personally, I would have put Tupac in that.
Tupac didn't produce beats.
He was that guy.
Yeah, but Tupac didn't produce beats though. He didn't produce beats.
He didn't make
so
beats,
what Tank was talking about is you go into a studio by yourself. No producer, no engineer, no writer, no nothing. You go in and you come out with a record or an album. He said that he can do that. He said he's done that. That's what he's done. That's how he did his album. He's like, I produced the records, I wrote them, I sung them, and I engineered them. He was like, so he's like, there's only he said he's at the top of my head. There's only 3 other artists. 2 are dead, 1's in prison that can do that. You know what I'm saying? So
what about Dre? Wait. Would you put Dr. Dre in that category?
Well, I'm glad you said that, Ralph, because here's the addendum to that. A lot of these producers don't write, but also
he did write a lot of the stuff for the Chronic that the parts that he did.
he
did. No, he didn't.
He did not. Dre does not write rhymes. He doesn't write. He never wrote rhymes. Ice Cube been writing his rhymes from NWA years, and then when he always had other people under him writing rhymes, whether it was Daz Dillinger, whether it was Sam Snead, whether it was Eminem, whether it was Jay-Z. There was people writing for him all the time. Snoop has written for him. All these people. Dre don't write. He don't write rhymes. That's the one. That's what pulls him off of it. That's what pulls. Now Timbaland could do it because he does write his own stuff. He definitely produces his own stuff, and he can engineer. So Timbaland is one. He's somebody that can do it. He can go because he can go into a studio by himself and come out with a record, a hit record.
You think Missy could do it?
Before.
You think Missy could do it?
No, I don't know if Missy could do it.
You don't think Missy could do it?
No, because Missy doesn't.
I don't know, man.
Produce. She produces, but I don't know. I don't know how her skill set is when it comes to engineering. So like she hasn't. I don't have any proof of that, so I don't know. She's definitely possible. But like I agree with you. I would say Alicia Keys before Missy. I would say
I said
before Missy. But Kev, you had a point to make.
She did produce Tweet.
Oh yeah, no. I just wanted to say what Ralph was saying about producers is that with the thing with Dre, a lot of producers are not making the top producers are not just making the beats alone.
Right. And remember, the key word that Tank was saying was going to the studio by yourself, meaning That's why he didn't include Michael. I mean, he included Michael Jackson because Michael could do that. He was including, he only included those three people because he means like by yourself, meaning not, no help from any.
I got one.
Steve. He should have said Stevie Wonder because Stevie. And we just don't know if Stevie can engineer. He probably could because you really just need an ear to engineer. And as long as you can, if someone can point to you, or not even someone, if you had Braille, if he had Braille letting you know what fader is what or whatever the case may be, he has the ear to engineer. That's for sure. So
what about Babyface? I think Babyface.
Yeah, I think he could too.
I feel like I want to say Babyface.
I would definitely put him on that short list. I would put Babyface on that short list.
But again, a lot of these cats that we claim as super producers, even Kanye West and Timbaland, to a degree, they really don't make beats anymore.
They don't do it anymore, but they have done it. They've done it in their time. They just don't do it no more because whatever, they don't have the time, or they whatever, they put other people on. But we know that Timbaland can go in and construct a beat by himself, make a beat by himself. He can write rhymes. He ain't a great rapper, but he can write his own rhymes. You know what I'm saying? He can write rhymes, and he can engineer. We know that for sure. So he definitely is on that short list. I would put Babyface on that short list as well. Yeah. Maybe Teddy Riley.
Oh, definitely Teddy Riley.
Teddy can write. Teddy can write. He can produce. He can engineer. I'd put Teddy on there too. So those are all people that. And Teddy's a straight musician. So Teddy don't need nobody in the studio with him. He can produce the entire track. Yeah. And one person that I know can do it that people just don't know because he hasn't been in the spotlight is Dr. Freeze. My man Dr. Freeze, because I've seen him do it. I'm seeing it, and for people who may not know who Dr. Freeze is at this moment, stick around. You will. I will have I'm doing an exclusive interview with him. So that he's a man that brought you hits like "I Want to Sex You Up," "Color Me Bad." He brought you "Poison" by Biv DeVoe. He did several songs for Michael Jackson. Most of them you can hear on the last Michael Jackson album, the Escape album. He did he got 2 or 3 joints on there, and he also has a joint on the Invincible album called Break of Dawn. So, but yeah, I've seen him do it. He learned a lot of his skills from Michael, like as far as his recording skills. I mean, he's been doing it way before he even met Michael, but I'm just saying he's told me that he's picked up a lot of different recording techniques from Michael, but people don't understand. So my point of bringing this up was Chris Brown somebody finally got to Chris Brown and was like, hey, what do you think about all this stuff that's going on, about all these rumors saying about you're better than Michael Jackson and you're more talented, and I give Chris Brown a round of applause for answering the question the way he should have answered it. He was just like, look, hell no, I ain't better than Michael Jackson. He's like, they're like, what do you do when you hear stuff like that? He said, I stay the hell out of it because people just talking, blah, blah, blah. He said, but the bottom line is, come on. He said, I wouldn't even be breathing or singing one note if that man never existed. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hell no. He said, there is no comparison to Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad it came from him because it should have. You know, he answered it the way he should have answered it. He didn't beat around the bush. He didn't say, well, some people have different opinion, but he didn't beat around the bush. He said, hell no, I ain't better than Michael Jackson. So I'm glad. I just wanted to give Chris Brown a little kudos for that. Staying humble like you should and being honest. You know what I mean? Like, bottom line. Chris Brown is definitely, maybe he's the Michael of this, of the that generation, the young generation, the millennials. Maybe he's the millennial Michael, if that's what it is. And Chris Brown is is a very talented artist. He put a lot of work in. He's one of those people. Me and my brother was coming up with a list, right? Called, we all got verses, right? He's on that short list to me that is unversable. I think he's one of those people because he's got so much material, and it'd be really hard to beat him in the verses. I also put Mariah Carey on that list. It'd be very hard to beat Mariah Carey in the verses, just like it's almost damn near impossible, I think, to beat Mary J. Blige in the verses. I just think that there's a short list that I have for that. Mariah, the only person that I came up with that would be a nice battle for Mariah on the low, people seem to forget, is Toni Braxton. I think Toni Braxton would be a nice. I don't think she'd beat Mariah, but it'd be a nice one. It'd be a nice one because see, Toni.
You know what's funny?
She has enough. She has enough ballads, and she's got babyface stuff behind her. You know what I'm saying? And they were hits too. So Mariah got mostly ballads, but she has some up tempos. Go ahead, Rob.
But you know what's funny? It's funny you said it because me and India were talking about this earlier today, and we kind of said the same thing, that there are certain people who you can't put anybody up against. Like I said the only person like Mary J. Blige, I said realistically speaking, the only person you could probably put up against Mary J. Blige is probably Faith right now from her era.
I mean, yeah, from her era would be Faith, but she would wash Faith in a verse.
Now, if you want to go up against Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, maybe Adele. One of those two would have to go up against her.
It would have to be one of them. I mean, but Adele has a lot of hits, and she definitely, but I mean, Mariah Carey's got a lot of hits. And like I said, it's one of those things where not a lot of people was out. People were out during her era, but they just wasn't like the only person that would have went up against her is dead. That's Whitney Houston. You know what I'm saying? Like you put Whitney against her, then I could see that would be nice because they were like similar in style. You know what I mean? Like to pit her against, Janet Jackson, that doesn't make sense to me. Like they're two different styles. They're pop stars, yeah, but it to me it's not a good matchup because they're like two different styles. Mariah's stuff is based, her hits and her songs were based on her singing ability and how they made you feel with her singing ability, where Janet's stuff was feel good messages, things like that, dance music. That's what Janet's stuff was. So it's not a good matchup to me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that but like I said, in further thought, I think Toni Braxton would be an interesting opponent for Mariah. Yeah. Toni Braxton would be an interesting opponent for Mariah. I don't think she would beat Mariah, but let's not forget, Toni has some bops now. She has some hits and some hit ballads. And let's not forget the monster ballad, Unbreak My Heart. Hey, that's a monster written by the great Diane Warren. One of the, in my opinion, the greatest female songwriter ever in the business. And arguably the best writer in the business because she's done so much stuff and been doing it for so long, and almost everything she touched turns to platinum. You know what I mean? So,
we were talking about this earlier, and because I guess tomorrow you're going to have a Marion versus Mario, and frankly, I don't want to see that crap. Yeah, so I was saying battles I would like to see. At first I said I want to see B2K against Drew Hill, but she was like, no, that's the same time period. But
no, it's not.
Drew Hill versus Jodeci. Yeah,
that would be cool.
But then I was saying the only other act out that I think is absolutely unbeatable is New Edition. I don't think you can put any group up against
because it's so tough because they transition through so many eras. That's number one. Number two, there was really nobody out during their era that matched with them anyway. You want to say what you say, Manu or New Kids on the Block?
No,
you know what I mean. New Kids on the Block, unfortunately, sold more than New Edition, but that doesn't mean they were better. They were a carbon copy of New Edition. So, all of those new, and they served as the blueprint for boy bands going forward. From after New Edition, it was just other groups trying to be New Edition. So
now what I had said, we were talking, and
what about Boys to Men? No, they're another tough one. That's another tough one. Boys to Men. It's tough to pit people against them.
But now with Boys to Men, you could put Boys to Men up against.
You could put Jodeci up against them, but they would beat Jodeci. They would beat Jodeci. But
now the only
you could, because they were from that same era. Yeah. That's the only reason why I would put them up against each other, because they're from the same. It's just like, they kind of like, they weren't similar groups, but they came out around the same time. They was from that same era. Even Drew Hill was after Jodeci. Now, what I mean?
But it's not that far away. It's
not that far away. And Drew Hill, to be honest with you, was like a copy of Jodeci anyway, especially the way Cisco sang, basically jacked KC style. He jacked, and KC started singing like Bobby Womack after that because he couldn't sing like he used to sing.
What I had said, as far as New Edition, what I said what I would like to see is if you take BDP, have them going up against Blackstreet.
Bubba DeVoe against Blackstreet. That would be decent. That would be decent. Well, Bubba DeVoe, they had 3 albums?
Yeah.
They had 3 albums. That would be interesting. Blackstreet or to me, if you're gonna talk about a versus that should happen with groups, it should be 112 versus Jagged Edge. That's what should that 112 versus Jagged Edge. That should happen.
Because I said that what I said was I think a good versus would be Joe versus Maxwell. I think that would be a good
Maxwell. That'd be nice.
And I had said, and she had said mid condition, but I was saying if you have mid condition got to go up against Tony. Yeah, that's what it have to be, because it's 2 bands. They're both bands. That's number one. They're not groups. They're bands. They play their stuff. They play their instruments. They are bands. So yes, and they actually have a similar sound. So they would be great to go against each other. I think Tony probably edge them out, but they would be good to go against each other. I like it.
But I don't know about this Mario. Who was it? Mario versus Omarion? I mean, I don't know.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I mean, it'd be cool, but I mean, it's like I don't know.
No, I'm not interested in it at all.
And the only person that I feel that could match up with Chris Brown, but they're still almost a full generation apart, is Usher. You know what I'm saying? But they're almost a full generation apart, but they do have similar styles, and with them would be entertaining because then they can also be dancing. You know what I mean?
What if you put? I'm just spitballing here. What if, and from this generation, what if you put Chris Brown up against Neo?
No, I mean, like I said, Neo is great. See, it would have to be a different. See, Neo is a different type of verses. The verses that they really missed the opportunity on was Neo versus The Dream, only because they missed that opportunity. They had Neo versus that other dude. The dude that Neo versed, I have to say, was a cheat code, because Jonta Austin is a really good writer, but Jonta Austin works with Brian Michael Cox. So half the stuff Jonathan Austin was using in their battle, everybody was saying, "Oh, he won that battle. He beat Neo." I'm like, yeah, but he didn't write all those songs by himself. Like those songs was co-written by Brian Austin. I'm not Brian Austin, but Brian Michael Cox. You know what I'm saying? So they should have been the Dream and Neo. They should have been the ones to go against each other because they both are very similar. They've worked with some of the same. They've worked with the same artists. You know what I'm saying? Neo's written hits for Rihanna. The Dream has written hits for Rihanna. Neo's written wrote a hit for Beyonce. The Dream has written hits for Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like they've worked with the same type of artists. They both can produce, and they both can write and sing. You know, I mean, you know, the Dream ain't that great of a singer. He's a really good writer. He's a better writer than singer. But you know, he does write good songs. He writes hits. So that would have been because you know Neo's a different type of verses because Neo can not only do a verse of a song that he wrote, but also I mean a song that he sang, but also a song that he wrote for someone else. Like you can use that in a battle, you know, which he did. He was battling as more of a producer. He was like, you know, producer and writer. Hey, I wrote this song. I wrote that song. Same thing. The Dream was battling that other dude who wrote stuff for Beyonce and stuff like that. And like I said, but the only problem I had with them, some of those people were bringing up songs that had 2, 3, 4, 5 producers on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they all did something, right? And you're just like, yo, nah, man, you can't do that. Like, yo, how do we know what you actually did on the song? You know what I mean? Because you guys know many different people on it. So, whereas Neo, like, if he breaks out to the left, he wrote that himself and, you know, and produced it. He has a production team, but I'm just saying they were battling as writers. So, and I loved verses back then too when they were doing that. But I believe Chris Brown has made that list for me of an unversable. He's cut because he also, remember, there was no one in his era really doing it at that time, except you have to bring in Justin Bieber or somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? It would have to be someone like that. But that came out around his era. Don't shake your head now. Justin Bieber got mad hits, bro. So, maybe. I don't know nothing about those. Well, that's what I'm saying. Just because you don't know about him, don't mean he got hits. That dude got hits.
Yeah, and Justin Timberlake.
And Timberlake. But see, I understand what they do.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right. Let's be honest. I understand what they do. They trying to keep the whites out of it. Let's be honest.
No.
Let's keep it a buck. They try to keep the whites out of it.
The whole no whites allowed.
Yeah. Right. This is a white only pie. This ain't a white only pie. This is black only pie.
But here's the thing: Justin Bieber gets a pass because he's not a culture vulture like Timberlake was, and also Justin didn't come to Janet's defense like he should have.
He sure
did.
That was that's why I stopped effing with him after that. I stopped effing with Justin after that because he actually kind of threw her under the bus. He didn't come to her defense at all, really. So I kind of stopped effing with him on that. But I think versus they try to get now. Granted, me and my brother predicted this. Shout out to Heaven Hollywood. I do think now that versus is controlled by Triller or whatever that is that they have. Don't be surprised if they do start doing a different genre of verses like rock and stuff like that. You start seeing like Bon Jovi versus Def Leppard. You know what I mean?
I don't think they're going to do that. Here's why: because one, if they're going to do that, the only way to do that right is to do them playing live on stage. It can't be because here's the thing: because you're going to have, if they do that, the first person that's going to voice their disgust to it is God damn it, his name skipped my mind just that quick. The rock aficionado from Sirius Radio. Eddie Trump.
Another Trump.
Eddie Trump. Yeah, Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk would.
Trump.
He will tear them apart if they get on there and start lip syncing. Because he is.
Well, I know that if they get up there and start lip syncing, exactly, they'd have to be able to play. Yeah, they'd have to give them play live, or you just have to go back to the old ways of just playing the records. You know what I mean, and going from there. That's the only way you can make it work.
It's got to be live. It's got listen. One of my favorite rock, and then I guess they are considered rock and roll is Hall and Oates. You will never catch.
They're not rock. They're not rock.
They're not hard rock. They're not hard rock. But I would say they're a rock and roll band.
And also because
they give you a better chance to live. No. They're awesome.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think you gotta remember, Swizz Beatz and them. They kind of like, they still ambassadors and they still control, but they don't have full control over that no more. Nope. And I believe they pretty much sold it to Triller. So,
but with the conditions that the artists get paid, and that there's an equal opportunity thing going on there, not just having the artists come on there just for the namesake of the show versus, and the artists not getting paid for their time on the show.
Yeah, well, yeah, most definitely. But the bottom line is, I think they will. I think we will see that. I think they're going to try to branch out because they're starting to run out. They're starting to run out of versus matchups.
I don't see how they can run out. The list is too long.
We're about to see Mario versus Omarion. You gonna tell me they're not running out of?
They're not. But see, that's not them running out. That's just them not making the choices.
Not thinking.
No, I mean what I mean is not everyone is like Chris Brown, for instance. He's already said that he's 50-50. He said he's not even really interested in participating in verses. He said, number one, because the way he kind of looks at verses as I'm not gonna do that right now because I'm still in the business. He look at it as that's something that cats that's kind of out of here can do to get some more, to get a buzz.
It is. It's very disrespectful.
That's what he said, and he was like, he said, I'm not trying to. He tried to say it as delicate as possible, but he's like, I'm really not that interested in doing it because I feel like.
But here's the thing:
he's like maybe after I'm, retired or something like that. He said, maybe after he's just like, I just know I don't. But he said, but at the same time, he said I'm 50-50. He said he's 50-50 because it does bring a nice, it does help the culture. It does bring a nice buzz to the culture.
It would bring him the bag because let's just say, for argument's sake, let's just say they brought Justin Timberlake in, and it was him against Timberlake or him against Bieber. Do you know? In my best voice, the kind of bag that would bring, especially the tour money that would bring after the fact. Oh my God!
It would, but at the same time, I think if they did that, they would lose their core audience, which is the black folks.
No,
they don't want Bieber in here, and they don't want Timberlake in here. If they start bringing them in, I believe they will lose their core audience at the end of the day.
Listen, I definitely hear you. I definitely hear you, but here's the thing: with Bieber, and here's the unfortunate part, especially with Justin Timberlake. Again, I don't want him in it because of what he did to Janet, so he doesn't deserve that spotlight. But see, and I don't know how much weight Timberland still holds with this whole thing, but if him and Swizz came and was like, yo, Chris Brown, Justin Timberlake, with me being Justin's DJ, yo,
Yeah, I just don't. I get what you're saying, and I can understand them doing it, but I don't think they'll take that chance because people they already facing a lot of backlash. People getting on them for selling verses. They like, why can't every time we got something, y'all gotta sell it to the white man every time?
The whole reason why they set it up was to make sure. See, and that's the thing. People want to complain about it, but here's the main reason why they did what they did to give it to Trilla is because Trilla was able to help put it on a wider platform, and not only that, they still kept it. Trilla is still keeping in step with what, because the condition was, if we give it to you, you got to keep it going like we have it. These artists got to be paid. The whole purpose of why we did this is so artists could get at the bag.
Get a bag, but they also get a bag because they get sponsors and stuff too. It's not like
exactly.
Right, they get sponsors and stuff like that. But like Diddy, Ciroc is a big sponsor there. My thing is, I believe that they're going to try to keep them out of it. I think if it's up to them to, they're gonna try to keep them out of it. I believe Trilla is gonna just take it to another level. I think Trilla is going to start bringing other genres in. That's what
another level. See, that still helps. That's still, people would probably think like, oh, now they're bringing in all these white artists, they're infiltrating, but they ain't really infiltrating, because if you really look at it from a business perspective, that opens up the bag to you for the core audience members who like R&B, but who are mostly not, who are a little bit detached because they think their artists ain't doing nothing because they don't have nothing to do with verses. So once they see that, they're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, my mom, and I can say this for a fact because I know, because I go out and dance with all these old people, or at least I used to when my legs work. I was out there dancing with these old people, and let me tell you something. There's a lot, like you got these like Rick James old band. They do a lot of stuff. What's it called? There's a lot of guys that used to play with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and all of them. They still do like these shows where they pop up during the summer. And when I tell you these old people these people show up and show out. They be out there on the floor like hard.
But Versus is like I said, I agree, but I'm telling you, Trilla's gonna do they're gonna do something else with Versus, and they may open up just like a different branch of Versus for like rock.
Even if they do that, it's still a bag.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is it's a bag for rock artists. But what I'm saying is, it's not going to be into that. It's not going, because a lot of these cats, these black R&B and hip hop fans. Yes, some of them are. There's some of them that are fans or like some rock music stuff, but they're not like diehard fans. You know what I mean? They're going to look at it as
they'll still show up though.
The way.
That's the thing.
I don't think they will. Not most of them. The white people will show up, and the rock fans will show up.
Listen, I know if I show up at Iron Maiden concerts, and I see about 30 other black people that show up at Iron Maiden concerts.
30. You just said 30. 30 black people. You know how many people are at Iron Maiden concerts?
No,
30 out of all the people that are there.
I do, but still,
that's a very small ratio.
That's my thing. See, you're thinking. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm saying 30 at that one concert at the Garden. I'm not talking about the rest of their tour, where the same amount of people probably show up.
Yeah.
Now you looking at Versus on a global scale. That's more people eyes looking in versus just being locked in. Hey, I gotta pause myself. I gotta meet my nurses here.
Okay. Yeah, but Kev, I think what the issue is that if this was created, and I understand it was created for a black artist, I think what the gripe would be, well, you created something for black artists, now you sold it off, and now you're going to bring in all these white artists, and guess what? You're not going to bring in more black artists on. So the people that we like we're never going to see, for example, Monica versus Maya. We're not going to see that, because now you give me Iron Maiden versus Megadeth. You give me Bon Jovi versus Genesis and all this other stuff. So the black talent, once again, gets pushed to the rear. And I think that's what Wes is trying to say. Like, we don't want the black talent to get pushed towards the rear.
That's what the majority of the and we know Kev is muted right now, but that's the majority of the demographic for versus are feeling, and that's how they are. Now, one thing I will say before we wrap the show up, the verses that there's a couple of verses that for me would break the internet, but probably will never happen. Is number one, Rihanna versus Beyonce. Number two,
never
Destiny Child versus TLC. And number three, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis versus LA and Babyface. That would be those three would break the internet if we had a versus. But you're not gonna have. I don't think any of those are ever gonna happen because Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Babyface in LA, they hate each other, and it gets personal there because Babyface was messing with Jimmy Jam's wife. I mean Terry Lewis' wife. Terry Lewis was married to Karen White at one time. You know what I'm saying? And Babyface was messing with Karen White. It's just too personal there. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. That's just like Ja Rule and 50 Cent. It's never gonna happen. But it would break.
I think the fourth one that would break the internet, it's got to say it, Foxy Brown versus Little Kim.
Yeah, that would too. That would be dope. That would be dope. That would be dope. I would love that. I would love that because people sleep on how good that El Nana album was fire. Foxy was dope. Now Foxy was dope when she came out. Yeah, and her and Little Kim. Yeah, and that's another one that's very personal. Little Kim, they shot at Foxy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's very personal too. And although they may have decided, we squashed the beef, but that don't mean they're gonna want to be in battle in the same room together. Especially if they do it live and they got their entourages. Nah, that's not gonna work out. That ain't gonna work out.
You got to do it with like it's just the two of them, no entourages. Just the two of them.
You would hopefully, to be honest with you, I would do theirs like the traditional verses, just them two. They're live, have a DJ playing their music, and they just because I'm being honest with you, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. This new shift of verses where now they're doing basically little mini concerts, it's cool, but I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think they should all be like that. And really, it only that. Who really they could thank for this is Jadakiss, because Jadakiss and the Locks, they really did their thing on that live stuff. Jadakiss went in there and he actually used the cheat code because he completely broke the original rules of verses, and he just decided to do a freestyle. You know what I'm saying? And it just it got everybody so amped up and hyped. Everyone, it was just like, yo, it's a rap, and he helped change the delivery of it, because it's now it went into showmanship and all that stuff, and I'm just like, yo, it can't just be that either, you know what I'm saying? Because for instance, Brandy and Monica, did theirs the traditional way, and they were singing along with it or whatever. But it's just like playing records, whatever. Because let's be honest, the traditional thing of verses was really just people would be in there jamming off of them playing the records. Because it's just like, to me, I thought what's cool about it is when you about to play a record, you give a little story behind it, right? Like, yeah, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And then you drop the record. You know what I'm saying? And everybody in there like, because really the true spirit of verses was hit verse hit. It had nothing to do with lyric verse lyric. That's why I didn't even like rappers being involved in verses. I'm like, that's not battling. Like a battle rap is about your lyrics and stuff. But hit for hit to me, it's just shouldn't be for rappers. Like if that's the case, then freaking MC Hammer probably beat a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of hits, but he's not no good rapper.
MC Hammer versus Vanilla Ice. Yo, let's get it going.
Let's get it.
You know who I want to see? It says rappers. Rappers. I want to see the Terror Squad versus the Flipmo Squad. I want to see
That'd be
Buster
cool.
get up there on the verses.
That'd be good. That'd
And
be good.
hit
Flipmo Squad.
and just hit you with some of his stuff. You'd be like, it's over. It's
Yeah.
over. But then
Or
Remy Ma
even
come
I
back
remember
and
they
do
did
something
they
like,
actually
oh,
did a
wait.
record. They actually did a record Flip Mode versus Death Squad. That was cool too. Death Squad with like
Yeah.
Eric Sermon, Redman on them, and Flip Mode Squad because he had Busta Rhymes, what's her name, Rod Digger, and all of them that was down with them. Yeah, Slip Star. Like, let's do the battle of the sidekicks. Split Star versus Flavor Flav. The battle of the hype men. Nobody, no, there's no better hype man than Flavor. But Split Star's nice though. Split Star's a great hype man because he's so his chemistry with
so
Busta
smooth.
Rhymes is so crazy.
But you
His
know what? When I
chemistry
see Naughty next month on my birthday, I'm gonna ask them. I'm asking who do you guys want to battle in a versus? If you had the chance, who would you guys want to battle?
They'd have to battle some. It would have been good. They would have been good against a Tribe Called Quest because they're the same type of, not the same type of flow, but you have two rappers. But now, unfortunately, Tribe Called Quest lost. They're down a rapper. But you would have had Tresh and Benny versus Q-Tip and Fife Dog. You know
Fife
what I mean?
Dog.
But yeah. And then you could have had Ali Shaheed versus, the what's his name from the DJ from Naughty.
KG.
KG, right. So
KG.
that would have been cool. But now since a Tribe Called Quest is, down a man, put them.
I had thought at one point maybe De La Soul, but then I was like,
maybe, yeah, but it's like I
don't know.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, bro. I hate to say this, but it's almost like 3-1. Even though Vinny's kind of nice. I never thought Vinny was that great, to be honest with you. That Tretch is the man on that.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
We know that.
He is.
Tretch is one of the Tretch is one of the better rappers in the industry. You know what I mean? He's just so good with his but for them, they're considered, their group is three of them. I don't know. Maybe Onyx. Maybe Onyx can go against Naughty.
I'd rather see Onyx go up against Cypress Hill.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool too.
I'd like to see that one.
They got that. No. Onyx was just like, Onyx was nice too, man. I love Onyx.
But they were just too rough at times. Like calm down a little bit. Listen, calm down. That's how you remember X Clan when X Clan came out.
They were too militant. It was more like you thought Public Enemy was militant. X Clan was militant.
Over the top. You had calm it down.
Yeah. But Public Enemy, I mean, who would battle them? I don't think anybody would want to battle them.
I don't. Yeah, Public Enemy might make you scared. You're like, nope.
Nah, I ain't battling.
But I'll give you 2 bags. Nope.
Chuck D is one of those dudes that you just like, you know what? I'm not going up against that. Chuck, then you got the best hype man in the world, Flavor Flav.
The S1Ws.
S1Ws. Forget about it, man. And Professor Griff with the S1Ws. Yeah, I dare you. I dare you to get on that stage if you would try to rush them. That's why they were so fearless when they performed, because there was nobody rushing that stage. That's what W's up there. It wasn't happening.
Dare you to walk up on this stage? You about to get fucked up.
That's just like what I felt when Wu-Tang would perform. I dare you to try to rush the stage.
What you got?
With the
you got going up against Wu-Tang?
I don't know. That there is no one. The only thing, like I said, it would have to be like it would have to be like a crew, like the Hit Squad or the Def Squad or whatever. Because you had Hip Squad and you had Def Squad. Remember at one point they had separated, then they came together and called it the Squad. So the Squad would consist of EPMD, It would consist of Redman. It would consist of K Solo. It would consist
Keith
of
Murray.
Keith Murray and DOS Effects. That's pretty much the squad, right? So it would have to be them going against Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah,
I could see that. That would be interesting.
that would be good.
That would be it. That would be good. It'd have to be because you got to figure that, and let's not, there's originally 9 members of Wu-Tang, and maybe if you add Capadonna, that's 10, right? So there's 10 members of Wu-Tang. So then with Def Squad, you got EPMD, that's 2, Redman, that's 3, Keith Murray, that's 4, DOS Effects, that's 6. Then you have who else was part of the squad?
K Solo.
K Solo is 7, and what's his face? Lil Jamal was part of them too. That's 8. So he's still down a couple people because anyone else that was part of the Def Squad? No. So I would just yeah. I mean, you'd have to ask someone else. I don't know. There's really no one else that was really down with them like that. But that's who you'd have to go with, basically. Those 8 versus the Wu-Tang Clan. You know what I mean? That would be nice because they got some joints. Redman, alone is gonna really, but you have to pick your 20 joints.
I don't want to face him. I don't want to face him. Not Redman. Redman is no.
Yeah.
Like a 1-on-1, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I meant to ask that person to give Kev. Like, are you giving him a sponge bath? Give Kev a sponge bath. He sounded like he could use a sponge bath. But then, what if his nurse was male? I'm like,
right, exactly. You don't know. Yeah. Let's hope that he has a nice, good-looking nurse. Shout out to the nurses. Yeah, nice female nurse. Give me a sponge bath, like Biggie said.
Take care of Kev. We need him.
Yeah. Like Biggie said in this song, he said something about giving me a sponge bath. I remember he said that in one of his songs. Yeah. So anyway, man. I mean, that's pretty much the end of the show. But I think that versus, I just think they would be.
I got a question though. Should we start our own movie versus?
Well, I mean, we had started that. Remember?
We did do that.
We did do that. I want to bring it back though, because we can start doing. We still got actors, because now you got a whole new generation and a bunch of different actors now that we can pit against each other. And we can put maybe.
But now that we're visual, we're visual, we could always show pieces of the movie.
No, we can't. Not on YouTube.
Snippet of the movie, right?
Probably not, but not on YouTube. Not on YouTube. Yeah, they're real suckers. But what we might be able to do is we'll work it out. But I want to get back to doing the movie versus, because there's still a lot of actors out there that we can pit against each other. Well, like I said, what we may have to do to accommodate, because there's still a lot of actors that don't have 20 movies under their belt. Remember, we learned that from going through.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to probably shrink it to 10, because there's a lot that don't have 20. And the ones that have 20, we pretty much did them. You know what I mean? Unless we, do that. But one thing I want to do, though, I want to not announce, but what I want to do is going forward, and I'll bring you into it because you're good at putting together. It's time to put together another tournament. Now, maybe we could do a versus tournament with the actors, so it's like brackets. So,
I actually had somebody hit me up on my Twitter page, about it's like, Ralph, when you doing the hottest girls on TV again? And I was like, I don't know, man. But then I was like, what if I did it, but the hottest girls all time on television?
All time, that's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Yeah. But I kind of was like liking the challenge, like coming up with 50 girls or 50 black girls or ethnic girls all time on TV. And see, the part of challenge that there hasn't really been a whole lot.
You just doing ethnic? You just doing ethnic girls?
Because Yeah, because if
We're
I
gonna
add,
start doing
it kept.
hottest women
Wait,
on
wait,
TV.
wait,
We
Kev.
got
Yeah.
Yeah, wait a minute. Did you get a sponge bath? Because it was kind of quick. What's up? I'm just saying. Was it just like this? Bye.
Well, not yet. It's coming.
Okay, there we go. Get that sponge bath. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. But like
yeah,
I said, the hottest women of all time, if I was to include everybody, that's tougher, right?
yeah, but it's tougher. But if you're just gonna do ethnic women of color or whatever, I mean, I don't know, because when you go back to there was, to be honest with you, there wasn't a lot of them on TV back in the 80s and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
There
That's
wasn't a
why
lot
when it
of
was
them
asked,
on
I said
TV
it's
back then.
hard. It's hard to do because
But if you do it all the
because
time, I'm
realistically
sorry,
speaking,
somewhere
you
in that top 10, I don't care, because we're talking hot, right? The hottest women of all time, from tradition, from what, I'm sorry, somewhere in my top 10 is Daisy Duke. You know what I'm saying? I put
yeah,
Daisy
Barbara
Duke
Bach,
in there. Yeah. I gotta put Daisy Duke in there. Now, are we doing characters or we just doing actors? We're just doing the actors, not
we're
their
just doing the
characters.
actors, the actors.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
actors.
but still, Barbara Bach was at her time.
Barbara Bach
Yeah.
would have to be in there. Certainly Barbara Eden that played Jeannie. She'd have to be
Barbara
in there.
Eden was
And
hot.
certainly
She was
Wonder Woman,
definitely hot.
Linda Carter.
Yes,
Got-
Linda
got- she
Carter
gotta-
still hot.
There's no way you're gonna have that. You don't have Linda Carter. She's still
Linda
Linda
Carter's
Carter
still
can still
hot.
get it.
Yep, she's still hot. Yeah,
She can
so
still
those are right out the gate are in there. But if you're just doing, ethnic, of course, on television, there's a plenty of them. But the ones from back then, you think about Diane Carroll.
Bernadette
You think
Staines.
about
Bernadette Staines. Really?
Staines, yeah, Bernadette Staines. Yep, she was one of the hottest on TV back then.
Yeah.
And then if you think about, like I said,
maybe Kim Fields.
Kim Fields, maybe back then on television.
And then you start bringing it up to today. Now today it's a little more diverse, but I mean, it
you
was,
bring it up to today. Yeah, I'm just thinking about from back then, like in the 80s and 90s. And the 90s, maybe Kim Fields, because she was pretty hot. And then if you go into the 90s, you get more out of the 90s, because then you can go into Jasmine Guy, or of course, what's her name?
Karen Parsons.
No, I'm talking about Huxtable.
Denise.
Denise Huxtable. Yeah. Definitely. She was one of the hot. He said, "What about Anna Lynn McCoy and her sisters?" Yeah. No, Anna McClain. He said Anna McClain. Okay, China.
China.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought he said Anna Lynn McCoy. I was reading it wrong. Obviously, I'm not blind.
The oldest sister that was in Daddy's Little Girls. She is smoking. I don't think that's China. That's who was the oldest daughter? What's her name?
I don't know. Shirley.
No, Sierra.
Oh,
Sierra Malene. She's the girl that's on that show Rescue 911.
There's so many of them back then, back in the day. Because now you obviously, like I said, we already said who was already in that top 10, top 20. In the top 10, it's got to be Pam Anderson. Pamela Anderson's got to be in there. She was one of the hottest women on TV. Period.
Ever.
At one point.
Ever.
Yeah, ever. You know what I mean? Pamela Anderson is definitely in that list. Heather Locklear is definitely in that
Lonnie
list.
Anderson.
Lonnie Anderson. Then you had Farrah Fawcett is definitely in that list.
And one of my favorites, Natalie Rotundo. She got it all.
And actually, one of my favorites from the same show with Farrah Fawcett is Jacqueline Smith. I thought she was just beautiful.
Kate Moss gets no love. Kate Moss gets no love.
Kate Moss was cute though. I like.
But she
Kate
gets
Moss.
no love like Jacqueline Smith and Farrah Fawcett.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. But I liked her. But that's what I'm saying. So it's so many from back then. If you include, unless you did it as a tournament, we could do the tournament. If you put everybody in it, do the tournament.
That's hard though. That's hard to do.
Field of 64.
I'm gonna have to think about that one because I was asked that and I was just like, I don't know.
There's a lot of ones. That's funny because that particular show got a lot of traction. A lot of people liked that we did that one.
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid it again because just trying to be whatever, non-sexist, whatever you want to call it.
But listen,
I'm just like,
I get that we need to be this, but listen, at least once a year, Sports Illustrated does the swimsuit issue.
Yeah.
At least once a year.
No, it's
so
true.
if we did once,
if we do it once
we just
a
let the
year
balls
and say the hottest,
let the balls hang out. Hey,
yeah,
hey.
Like, look, we're gonna be men to this weekend. We're gonna be men this week. Say, look,
you know what? Instead, even though that we deal with movies and TV, maybe we should do the hottest women in music. Maybe that might be something a little different.
That also would be tough too, though. Cause there's a lot of them too. There's a lot.
But your girl could not be on that list. We cannot put Maya on the list. She's a no-go. Just because you like her, she's a no-go.
Oh nah, bro. She has to be.
She's
still look. You seen her lately? She's looked the same. Oh, yeah. She's like a vampire.
She's coming out to this area pretty soon to New York. She's doing like a show. I was like, I might have to go see Maya. I ain't never seen Maya. I'm gonna have to go see Maya.
And Maya's dope, man. Maya puts a nice performance on. I've seen her perform a couple of times. But I saw her when we covered one event with her. And that was the event that I wanted to shoot that dude from 30 Rock, the big tall dude, Kevin, whatever his name is. Kevin something his name. Kevin Brown, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
The big tall black dude from 30 Rock.
That played one of his bodyguards?
Yeah, whatever he would play it. Yeah, I wanted to shoot that dude because I was there for Maya. She was one of the main acts. Her and what's his name? Lloyd. And they were they performed and everything. And when she came out to finally do her interviews and stuff like that, she came and I knew this was gonna happen. Yo, this dude, Kevin Brown's publicist, was bugging me all night to get an interview with him because he was, he had a publicist and he was trying to really build his thing up, right? I'm like, cool, let's do this interview. I told the girl who was interviewing her, I pulled her aside and said, look, if you see Maya come out or if you see me do this, wrap it up, then wrap it up so we can grab Maya so we don't miss her. All right, cool, because I knew she was supposed to come out soon. What happened? Exactly what I was feared to happen. We're in the middle of this interview, and this dude is being mad, long-winded, and this, that, and the other. Bruh, here comes Maya, walks right past me, comes out to go over into the area where they do the interviews, where people were going to interview her. And I'm just like, no. And I'm like, wrap it up. I'm trying to tell her, wrap it up. And she kind of didn't have control of the interview like she should have. And this dude just kept talking and just messed me up. And I missed Maya, bro. I missed her. I was so angry. Yo, you don't understand how angry I was. Yo, my correspondent for the night was like, oh, she was so scared. She didn't want to talk to me no more because I was so angry. I was like, I told you if I do this, it means wrap it up. I'm like, just take the mic from his ass, whatever. I was so bad, yo.
And you never got to talk to Maya.
I didn't get a chance to talk to her at that point. I had met her before then because we went to an event that she was hosting with JoJo at Sephora on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. And I met her then. I met her, took pictures with her and stuff like that. But I was just meeting her. But I wanted to get an interview. I wasn't doing block TV then. Like we didn't have our camera, nothing. Like didn't interview her. So I got a chance to meet her and talk to her, but we didn't get a chance to interview her. We finally got a chance to get her on block TV when we covered a birthday party event of hers. And she actually gave me a personal shout out. You know what I'm saying? To me, because I couldn't make it. That I was sick. Once again, the universe trying to keep me away from Maya, my future ex-wife, trying to keep me away from Maya. So I'm like, look, I couldn't make it. I was sick. So my brother and our correspondent went out there, and she gave a special shout out with, you watching block TV with Wes and having, gave us a special shout out. I was happy about that. And of course, my brother had her on his show when he used to do the Heaven Hollywood Experience when he was on Dollhouse, I think. I don't know if he was on Dollhouse at the time, but it was definitely through Blog Talk. And she came on the show, and she's really cool, man. She's a real cool person, man. Good, good interview, great performer, and she got some joints, man. And she's my future ex-wife, so she's fine. So, but anyway. Just saying. Yeah, so anyway, that's pretty much that. We'll end it on that note. Shout out to Tom Cruise and the way he's doing this Maverick. They really, it was really dope how they did Iceman. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but to bring Iceman back in there, even for that short moment, you know what I'm saying, was really dope. A really emotional moment. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I read somewhere, I didn't realize this. I read that they literally like digitally constructed Val Kilmer's voice for that scene.
Yeah, because I heard he can't really talk.
Yeah, he lost his voice, really. He had throat cancer, and although he beat it, he in the process, unfortunately, he pretty much lost his voice. They had to cut out his trachea or whatever. He can't. He has to literally do one of those, things to talk, and he uses a feeding tube, all types of stuff. Man, it's so tragic. And yeah, but they were able to, through a new technology, of course, and archival footage, which they're gonna do this, I believe, with James Earl Jones. And I believe someone mentioned that they already started doing that with James Earl Jones. Through archival footage of the voice and stuff like that, they're able to like mimic it and digitally put together an entire dialogue of what he was saying with his original voice and stuff. So kudos to Tom Cruise for even making that happen. You know what I mean? Bringing him in on that. And from what Val Kilmer says that he posted, it was very emotional. He had a great time. It was like, old buddies, just long lost friends catching up. He said they kept laughing on takes and stuff like that, and they just had a great time. So shout out to that, man, and shout out to you, Joseph. Thank you for holding us down. We're ending the show anyway, but thanks for holding us down. Next week we'll come back with some more stuff, y'all. In the next couple of weeks, I don't know if I ever told them that or told y'all that, or I've told y'all behind the scenes, but I will be officially moving to Atlanta in July 15th. I'm going over there to just do what I got to do with the film stuff and go harder, I should say, get deeper into this stuff. But we'll still continue to do that. next week we'll be back and we'll get it popping. I heard Dakota Fanning last note. Dakota Fanning is now joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We just don't know as who. And I don't know. I'm thinking it could be Sue Storm. It's very possible that they might bring her in to play Sue Storm. She's and either that or they're bringing her in to play an X-Men, and I don't know who that would be, but they just said she's joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we don't know who yet. But I'm gonna say my first guess is Sue Storm. So we'll see. There we go from there. Thanks again, Joseph.
What is she's playing? What is she's playing? Jean Grey.
I mean, it's possible she'd have to, go red for that, but that's not that hard to do. But
That's a wig. That's a wig.
Yeah, just a wig or dye or whatever you want to do with it. She's definitely got the chops to do it. She got the chops to do it. We'll see. We'll check it out.
Could
We'll
play
see.
Rogue. Because isn't Rogue blonde?
She could. No, Rogue's not blonde either. Rogue's like brunette. She got like brown hair with the white streak in it. But I think she only got that white streak. She got that. Well, from the movies, she got it from holding on to Magneto, but that's not how she got it in real life. But I mean, not in real life, but in the comics, I should say, originally. She got her powers from putting Captain Marvel in a coma. From holding on, she held on to Captain Marvel and basically put her in a coma, and that's how she held on to her so long. That's how she permanently took on the strength and flight powers, from Captain Marvel, basically. So, but anyway, thanks again, man, everybody. Y'all have a good night. Peace out. We're out.